Greetings, fellow gamers. I am your friendly neighborhood game critic, also known as the gaming coach. Today I am inviting you not just to a game review, but to an artistic masterpiece, a poem, an epic. Today we will be talking about Ghost of Tsushima, presented to us by Suckerpunch Production, a game that lets us feel the spirit of feudal Japan to our very core, offering both a visual feast and a deep story. Fasten your seatbelts, because this journey will be an adventure where we will roam the magnificent landscapes of Tsushima Island and witness the epic tale of the samurai Jin Sakai, torn between honor and revenge. Ghost of Tsushima's gameplay is, in one word, magnificent. It has everything you would want from a samurai-themed open-world game, and even more. Now, let's talk about sword fights, because they are the spirit, the heart, the everything of this game. You can use for different stances against your enemies, each effective against different types of foes, stone, water, wind, and moon. For instance, while the stone stance is perfect against shielded enemies, you need to use the wind stance to defeat spearmen. And it's not just about memorizing which stance is good against which enemy. And it's not just about memorizing which stance is good against which enemy. The beauty of the system lies in the fluidity, the ability to switch between stances mid-combo. Adapting to the flow of the battle, you really feel like a master swordsman, analyzing your opponent and choosing the right tools for the job. Master all 4 stances against swordsmen, shields, spears, and brutes. Adapt to every situation. And those parries, the satisfaction you get from parrying enemy attacks with the right timing and instantly delivering a deadly counterattack. Believe me, you can't get it anywhere else. And then there's that perfect parry, which makes you feel like a true samurai, defending with that millisecond timing just as the enemy's sword swings, followed by that deadly blow. This is pure, unadulterated, adrenaline-fueled gameplay bliss. And the impact? Oh my god, the feeling of impact. Every time your katana connects with an enemy, you feel the weight of that blow, that power sinking into the bones. It's truly satisfying, truly addictive. There is more. Jin is not just a master swordsman samurai, but also a ghost who hides in the shadows, striking fear into his enemies. So the stealth mechanics are just as detailed and satisfying as the swords fight. You can hide in the bushes, wait for enemy patrols to pass, and move on the rooftops to deliver deadly assassinations to your unsuspecting foes. As if that wasn't enough, you can use wind chimes to distract your enemies, poison arrows to turn them against each other, or set the scene ablaze with explosive bombs. The stealth sequences work pretty well too. The AI is sometimes too good, it is like they have eagle eyes, and other times surprisingly blind, like they are acting in a silent movie, failing to notice assassinations happening right in front of them. But overall, they convey the feeling of stealth quite well. And the bow and arrow gameplay. Different arrow types, long range shots, precision aiming, and even the ability to use a grappling hook to reach difficult places. The game offers you complete freedom on the battlefield. Whether you charge into your enemies like Rambo, or be a silent and deadly shadow, the choice is entirely yours, and his freedom is felt in every moment of the game. And of course, let's not forget horseback riding. Tsushima Island is a vast world waiting to be explored on horseback, galloping with your loyal steed with the wind whipping through your hair, accompanied by magnificent views, is one of the most enjoyable moments of the game. However, I need to open a parenthesis here. We don't form such a deep bonding with our horse in the game. Yes, our horse is loyal, comes whenever we cool, and fighting on horseback is also possible. But when our horse dies, a new one conveniently appears, or we can even just borrow a nearest horse from a passing villager with no complaints, mind you, and continue with the same speed and abilities. So we don't form an emotional bond with our horse. It remains more like a tool. I wish there was a bit more depth in this area, like customizing our horse, giving it truly grieving when it dies. The game's pacing is also superbly set. The main story missions keep you constantly immersed in action and excitement. You clash with Mongol armies, besiege fortresses, and test your skills in duels. And then there are the duels. These one-on-one battles are a true test of skill, a dance of death where a single mistake can cost you your life. The tension, the focus, the sheer cinematic quality of these encounters will leave you breathless. These are not just fight, they are intimate, almost poetic clashes of will and technique. But at the same time, quest and exploration element encourage you to discover the magnificent world of Tsushima. You can climb a mountain and write a haiku inspired by the magnificent view, follow a fox to discover a hidden shrine, or rest in a hot spring and listen to Jin's thoughts. And the wayfinding mechanic. Now, this is truly revolutionary. When you mark a point on the map, the wind guides you. Yes, you heard that right, the wind. By following the direction of the wind, observing how objects, leaves, and trees move, you find your way. It's a method I've never seen in any game before. Incredibly natural and immersive. Sometimes, just to experience this feeling, I mark a random spot on the map and write "guided by the wind." It's an amazing experience. In short, you never get bored in Ghost of Tsushima. You always find something to do. And let's not forget about liberating Tsushima from the Mongols' invaders. You can attack Mongol-controlled territories, outposts, and forts, each with its own set of bonus objectives. Want to free some hostages, destroy supplies, take out the enemy leaders without being detected. You got it. Completing these objects not only weakens Mongol preference on the island, but also rewards you with valuable resources and experience. Graphic and art design. Now let's get to the visual feast, graphics and art design. You know those games where you ask, is this a game or is it real? Ghost of Tsushima is exactly that kind of game. In fact, maybe it's even more. This game is not just a game, it's a work of art, a painting, a poem. Tsushima Island is so beautiful, so alive, so detailed that one struggles not to lose themselves in it. Especially the nature design, it's simply breathtaking. It's the most realistic, detailed, and mesmerizing depiction of nature I've ever seen in a game. Unless Red Dead Redemption 2. And I mean alive. This isn't just a static backdrop, it's a living, breathing ecosystem. Insects buzz around flowers, birds fly overhead, deer grazing in the fields, and foxes dart through the undergrowth. You can almost feel the wind on your skin, the mist in the air, the dampness of the forest floor. It's a level of detail that's simply astonishing. The way grass, trees, and leaves sway in the wind. Everything is so realistic that sometimes you just want to stop and watch scenery. Listen to the sound of the wind and breathe in the scent of the sea. And oh, those falling leaves, yellow, green, red, orange. They dance with the wind, creating a vibrant spectacle of colors. And it's not just the visuals. The sounds are magnificent too. The sounds of waves crashing on the shore, the whispering of the wind, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, all transport you to that world. Whether you are traversing the snowy mountain peaks, riding through the hot beaches on the tropical Iki Island, or resting under the cherry blossoms in spring, you will be amazed by the magnificent beauty of nature everywhere. Even after finishing the game, I find myself entering the game just to experience this atmosphere again. To get lost in nature, riding my horse, watching scenery, and spending hours in photo mode. Just look at the grass, trees, and flowers swaying in the wind. Each one is meticulously designed, and the lighting, dynamic and gorgeous. It changes according to every hour of the day, each offering a distinct visual feast, like it is directed by the sun itself. The sunrise and sunset scenes are so magnificent that one can spend hours just immortalize those moments in photo mode. And that color palette. Every region, every location has its own unique color palette. Golden plains, forest with red leaves, pure white, snowy peaks, lush green, bamboo groves. Each looks like came straight out of a painter's canvas. And what about the character models, costumes, weapons? Each piece of Jin's armor is individually detailed. The sword scabbards, their engravings and patterns are each a work of art, and this detail isn't limited to just Jin. Every character in the game, every enemy, every NPC varies meticulously designed costumes that reflect the spirit of the era. Thank you, Emre Ekmekci. And of course, I can't go without mentioning the photo mode. Sucker Punch has added such a photo mode to the game that you feel like a professional photographer. Countless filters, exposure settings, focus settings, any fine-tuning you can think of. You can spend hours in this mode, immortalizing the magnificent views on Tsushima and creating your own work of art. In short, Ghost of Tsushima will not only captivate you with its gameplay, but also with its visuals pulling you into a dreamlike world. So, what kind of story lies beneath this magnificent visual presentation? Let me tell you, it's just as impressive as the visuals. Ghost of Tsushima tells the epic tale of Jin Sakai, the last hope of Tsushima Island during the Mongol invasion of 1274. Right from the start of the game, in that brutal battle scene, we witness how the island is razed to the ground and how its people are slaughtered, and with his uncle, Lord Shimura, captured. Jin is faced with the most difficult choice of his life. Will he remain an honorable samurai fighting by the Bushido code, even if means certain death? Or will he choose the path of the ghost to save those he loves, even if it means sacrificing his honor? This dilemma, this inner war, forms the main backbone of the game. And Jin's struggle is felt not only in the main story, but also in every moment of the game. And the game doesn't shy away from the moral complexities of Jin's situations. There are no easy answers, no clear-cut good or bad choices. Every decision you make, every life you take has weight and consequences. You will often find yourself questioning your own actions, wondering if you're doing the right thing, or if you become the very thing you're fighting against. This moral ambiguity is what makes the story so compelling, so human. He is a complex character, full of contradictions and depth. Jin is not alone on this arduous journey. Along the way, he meets allies, each with their own story and motivation, each incredibly impressive. For instance, Yuna, a skilled thief who would do anything to survive. Sensei Ishikawa, a stern and disciplined archery master, but also a man grappling with ghosts of his past. Lady Masako, a deadly warrior costumed by need to avenge her family. And Taka, Yuna's brother, a talented blacksmith and Jin's closest friend. The bond you form with these characters, the adventures you experience with them, enrich the game's story even further, making it even more poignant. And of course, the side quests, the magnificent Tales of Tsushima. These quests not only complement the main story, but also shed light on the lives, the pain, and the hopes of the people living in Tsushima, while saving a village from bandits, searching for a mother's lost child, or investigating the circumstances of a betrayal. You feel like a part of the world. Each story is carefully written, each capable of deeply affecting you, and these stories transform Tsushima from being just a game setting into a living, breathing world. One of the elements that complete the atmosphere of a game, transforming it into a work of art, is sound and music, and Ghost of Tsushima, in his regard, sets the bar sky high. The game's music was composed by two masters, Ilan Ashkari and Shigeru Umebayashi, and the resulting work is, in one word, breathtaking. Traditional Japanese instruments, taiko drums, shakuhachi flute, shamisen, koto, they all blend perfectly with the game's epic and melancholic atmosphere. During battle scenes, fast-paced and exotic music that awakens the warrior within you plays, while roaming the magnificent landscapes of Tsushima. Peaceful and melodic music that soothes your soul accompanies you, or while witnessing the sad story of a side quest, a touching melody that penetrating your heart is heard. The music is more than just the background noise. It's an integral part of the experience. It's like a character in itself, shaping the mood, enhancing the drama, and drawing you deeper into the world of Tsushima. A simple flute melody can evoke a sense of peace and tranquility, while the pounding of taiko drums can instantly raise your adrenaline and prepare you for a battle. The music doesn't just accompany the action, it elevates it, making every moment feel more epic, more meaningful. The sound effects are just as successful as the music. The satisfying metallic clank of swords clashing, the whooshing sound of arrows cutting through the air, the thundering hoof sounds of horses galloping. Each one is meticulously recorded and integrated into the game, and all these sounds further enhance the game's realism and atmosphere. And the voice acting. Whether you play in English or Japanese, I prefer Japanese. The voice acting in both languages is simply superb. In particular, I want to give a special shout out to Daisuke Tsuji, who voices Jin Sakai. The man practically lives as Jin. He conveys the character's emotions, his inner conflicts, with every nuance, every emphasis in his voice. But the voice acting of other critics' characters is just as successful as Jin's. Each one is voiced in a way that suits character's personality and spirit. Now, when we look at technical performance of Ghost of Tsushima, we see once again that skilled studio Sucker Punch is. The game runs like a dream on the both PC, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Now, is the game completely bug-free? Of course not. What game is? Like every other game, Ghost of Tsushima has its fair share of minor bugs and glitches. For instance, I once got stuck inside a rock. It was like a game itself tried to make me on with nature. But thankfully, the game's autosave system came to my rescue. Or sometimes, you might witness the AI acting a little bit strangely, like a confused NPC in a play. But these are not issues that overshadow the game's overall quality and the magnificent experience it provides. Sucker Punch has done a truly marvelous job in this regard, turning Ghost of Tsushima into an unforgettable experience, both visually and technically. The game is almost free of loading screens, making experience seamless. Ghost of Tsushima is worth every penny considering content, quality, and replayability it offers. It definitely gives your money's worth. The main story, side quests, places to explore, collectibles, the hours you spend in the game will fly by. Moreover, the Legends mode is just the icing on the cake. If you bought the standard edition of the game, you can access the Legends mode for free. And you should, because it's great. And let's not forget the Director's Cut, which I will talk about in a bit. It adds a whole new chapter to the story with new content, making it even more valuable. In short, Ghost of Tsushima is an experience that fully justifies its price and will stay with you for a long time. It's a game you will want to come back to, even after you finish the main story, just to roam the beautiful landscapes, fight some more Mongols, duels, and maybe even try to 100% complete it. Also, the breathtaking landscapes and engaging storyline providing to many hours of gameplay that it represents excellent value for your investment. Ghost of Tsushima might not introduce a brand new mechanic or a groundbreaking feature to the gaming world. However, it does what it sets out to do, that is, being samurai-themed open-world game so well that it firmly establishes itself at the top of the genre. Perhaps the game's greatest innovations lays in the atmosphere it creates and its storytelling. Tsushima Island is not just a game setting but a living world with a soul. And Jin's story is not just a tale of revenge, but also a story of honor, sacrifice, and a search for identity. Sucker Punch has taken familiar formulas, infused them with their own spirit, and created a unique experience. The wind-guided navigation, a stroke of genius, I must say. The focus of atmosphere and emotional storytelling, the incredibly fluid and satisfying combat system. These are elements that make Ghost of Tsushima stand out from the crowd. Also, the game's minimalist HUD enhances immersion, keeping the focus on the stunning visuals and natural beauty of the world. Although Ghost of Tsushima tells a fictional story, it's based on a real historical event, the Mongol invasion of 1274. The game takes great care to reflect the atmosphere, culture, and lifestyle of this period. So what was the Mongol invasion and how accurately does Ghost of Tsushima portray it? In the 13th century, the Mongol empires, founded by Genghis Khan, had become one of the largest empires the world had even ever seen. Kubilai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, set his eyes on Japan from 1266 onwards. He sent envoys to Japan demanding that Japan pay tribute and submit to the Mongol Empire. However, the Kamakura shogunate in Japan refused these demands, and so inevitable war began in 1274. The first target was Tsushima Island, strategically located between Korea and Japan. The Mongol army, with approximately 800 ships and 23,000 soldiers, landed on the island. The island's defender so heroically resisted the Mongols with only 80 cavalrymen, but was defeated due to being outnumbered. Ghost of Tsushima depicts precisely this moment. The first day of the Mongol invasion, those brutal battle scenes we see in the game, that devastation, that desperation, unfortunately, were all too real. After capturing Tsushima, the Mongols attacked Iki Island and then proceeded towards Kyushu Island. Ghost of Tsushima has been very meticulous about the armor, weapons, clothing, and architecture of the period. Mongol warriors you see in the game, the armor they wear, the weapons they use are all designed based on historical sources and archaeological findings. Similarly, the armors, katanas, and lifestyles of the Japanese samurai are also accurately reflected. While the game draws heavily from historical events and settings, it's important to note that it does so with a degree of artistic license. The narrative, characters, and certain gameplays elements are fictionalized to create a compelling and engaging experience. This blend of fact and fiction is a deliberated choice by the developers to craft a narrative that resonance with players while still paying homage to the historical backdrop. Of course, it's important to remember that the game is not a historical documentary and some artistic liberties have been taken. This isn't a history lesson, it's a video game. For example, Jin's ability to single-handedly defeat an army or the realism of the ghost techniques are the table, to say the least. I love being a one-man army as much as the next guy. But let's be real, however, the game's overall atmosphere, the brutality of the war, and the spirit of the era are portrayed with great success. The game not only shows battle scenes, but also provides information about the Japanese society and culture of the time. For example, we can see how the samurai adhered to the code of honor called Bushido, their loyalty to their lords and families. It also reflects the influence of religions like Shintoism and Buddhism on society, people's relationship with nature, and the artistic sensibilities of the period. In this sense, Ghost of Tsushima goes beyond being just a game, offering players the opportunity to experience a historical period. And now we come to the Iki Island DLC, which came with the director's cut version and hosts a brand new story where Jin confronts his past. This expansion pack takes us to Iki, a real island located just southeast of Tsushima. And I must say, Iki Island is just as fascinating as Tsushima. It's a tropical island with full of monkeys and just as dangerous. And I must say, Iki Island is just as fascinating as Tsushima and just as dangerous. It's a fantastic addition that feels like a natural extension of the main game. Iki Island is smaller than Tsushima, but has a diverse geography. Steep cliffs, dense forests, hiding coves, and hiding hot springs are among the preeminent geographical features of the island. The climate is a bit harsher than Tsushima's, more windy and rainy. This adds a different atmosphere to the island. The vegetation also differs from Tsushima, with more tropical influences while exploring the island. You can sometimes find yourself in a rainforest, sometimes on top of steep cliffs. This diversity makes exploring the island even more exciting. The new landscapes are not only beautiful to look at, but also introduce new gameplay challenges and opportunities. On Iki Island, not only landscapes, but also our enemies are different. This time, we face a mysterious tribe known as the Eagle, and their leader Ensar Hatun, also known as the Eagle. This tribe is collaborating with the Mongols and trying to take over the island. Moreover, a new enemy type called Shamans is also added to the game. Shamans are quite dangerous enemies on the battlefield who threaten other Mongol soldiers and cast curses. These shamans add a mystical element to the combat, and you'll need to take them out first to make the other enemies vulnerable. These new enemy types add a new depth to the game's combat system, forcing you to develop different stances. Also, you will encounter some pirates that are not directly connected to the main story. Iki Island is not just a new battleground for Jin, but also a place where he confronts his past. On this island, we also see the ghost of Jin's father, Kazumasa Sakai. Through flashbacks, we learn new information about Jin's complex relationship with his father, his childhood traumas, and the history of the Sakai clan. This adds another layer of depth of the Jin's characters and allows us to better understanding his motivation. The story of Iki Island delves deeper into Jin's past and his family, providing a more personal and emotional narrative. Of course, the Iki Island DLC doesn't just offer a new story and enemy types, it also adds new elements to gameplay. On this island, Jin learns new abilities, discovers legendary armor, and can even armor his horse. In particular, the horse charge ability is perfectly breaking through enemy lines. There are also many new side quests, myths, and secrets waiting to be discovered on the island. Additionally, new armor sets and charms found on Iki Island and enhance both gameplay and customizations options. For instance, the Sarugami armor not only looks impressive but also offers the perfect parry and dodge mechanics, offering a new playstyle for those who have mastered the combat system. The Iki Island DLC is a perfect addition to Ghost of Tsushima. It both deepens the main story and offers a brand new region, new enemies, and new gameplay mechanics. If you loved Ghost of Tsushima, you should definitely play the Iki Island DLC. It's an equally impressive and unforgettable chapter added to Jin Sakai's saga, and it is a must for any completionist. Yes, my friend, we have come to the end of the road. Ghost of Tsushima gets full marks from me, 10 out of 10. In fact, 10 is not enough. This game is not just a game, it's an experience, a work of art, a masterpiece. As a final word, I want to say this: if you are going to play only one game in your life, let that game be Ghost of Tsushima. This game will not only offer you a gaming experience, but will also take you to another world, another time. While riding your horse in the magnificent landscapes of Tsushima, while brandishing your sword against the Mongol armies, while witnessing the sad and epic story of Jin Sakai, and you will lose yourself. And believe me, you will never forget this experience. It's a game that will stay with you. Until the next review, take care of yourself, stay with the game, and remember, live with honor, and if necessary, fight like a ghost or a samurai. You do you.